Am I the a-hole I planned for my girlfriend after her friends came along? My girlfriend Sarah, 29, and I, male 28, have been dating for 5 years, and I wanted to go on a vacation with her to celebrate. I planned a trip for several months, and of course, I shared my plans with her. I decided on skiing/snowboarding/other winter activities in Colorado. The activities seemed perfect, and I was looking forward to this for months because I wanted to propose to her at the end of the trip. 5 days before the trip, Sarah dropped the ball on me that she invited 2 of her friends to meet her there. I was upset because I wanted to spend one-on-one time with Sarah for our anniversary. I feel like it was plain and clear that this was a trip for just us. Even though I expressed my concerns, Sarah insisted that her friends already made plans to come and won't back out. I decided to accept this because there was no way for me to force her friends to not come. But I wish I fought more on this. I figured we could make some changes to our plans, and I would still be able to propose to her privately. Sarah essentially blew me off for her friends, and we didn't get any private time. After 3 days of being in second place, I decided to leave the trip and head home. I told Sarah why I was leaving, and she was upset. She told her friends about my decision, and I was ganged up on. They said we were all having a great time. She thinks I'm being a jerk for making her pick between her friends and me, even though her friends weren't invited in the first place. I never had personal issues with her friends prior to this trip. I never made Sarah pick between me or her friends, because everyone needs a friend outside of a relationship. I'm at home now and thinking about everything. I have a day to myself before Sarah comes home, so at least I get to relax a bit. Sarah and her friends think I'm overreacting and think I ruined the trip. I think Sarah was disrespectful and rude to me by ruining the purpose of this trip and having her friends gang up on me. Am I the a-hole for leaving a vacation I planned for my girlfriend after her friends came along? Edit. This was a planned anniversary/romantic trip. I was clear that we have plans for just us two. We've been on other anniversary trips together without our friends there. We did discuss marriage beforehand, so it's not like a proposal would have been out of the blue. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You sure you still want to propose? This. Even if it wasn't a proposal trip, it was so disrespectful of Sarah to basically pull the rug out from under him and get her friends to gang up. To do that to someone you've dated for 5 years? Jeez. I would sit her down and go through the plans you had, including the proposal. Watch the Pikachu face, and then tell her you need time apart to reevaluate the relationship. So let me get this straight. 1. You spent months planning a vacation for the 2 of you. 2. You paid for said vacation. 3. She invited her friends and didn't tell you until it was too late for them to cancel. 4. You made requests for alone time, and she rebuffed those efforts to hang out as a group with her friends. Buddy, she found a ring and knew your plan for the weekend. Not the a-hole. Might want to consider planning for a different future. Info, is it possible she knew you were going to propose and did this intentionally to avoid it? That is what worries me. We discussed marriage beforehand and everything seemed great. This was a planned anniversary/romantic trip, so the nature of it was plain and clear. I hope you're reading all the other posts here. Not the a-hole and her inviting others along without telling you until it was too late for them to cancel. Blowing you off on the trip and then ganging up on you is absolutely not the behavior of a life partner. And I 100% guarantee you will live to regret marrying this person, even if you later proposed and she said yes. Sorry this is happening to you, but much better you found out now than after the fact. I've been trying to respond to the comments as best I can. I didn't realize this would blow up this much. Everyone here has given me a lot to think about and her logic of bringing her friends. I'll update in a day or two if I'm up for it. Minor update. My friends are here at the house and they have been running potential interference, just in case her friends try to bombard and harass me. They've been great and I'm so glad to have them. Next story. Am I the a-hole for leaving without my friend when I agreed to pick her up? I cannot stand people being late to things. Well, if you were late and you were getting there yourself, I don't care. But if I'm there to pick someone up or we are leaving together, I need them to be on time. I refuse to be late because of another person. It's a big issue for me because growing up, my parents would be late to everything. We'd always arrive at a movie 10 minutes plus into the movie, like after the commercials. If we were supposed to be somewhere, I just knew we'd be late. Even to important things that would reflect poorly on me, that make me late to all of them. So if I say we are leaving at this time or I will pick you up at this time, I mean that time. My friends know this. They make jokes about times when I pulled up and waited until the exact time and just drove off to the destination. Recently, we had a 4-day getaway with a few friends planned. One of my chronically late friends that knows how I am with these things asked me to pick her up. I told her that we were leaving at this exact time and that if she isn't there, I'll just go. I've never picked her up before, but she usually arrives late to hang out, which I don't mind. As long as you're not making me late, I don't care. You can miss half the movie for all I care. The day came and I drove to her apartment. I was a few minutes early and texted that I was there. I didn't get a response until the agreed time she said she'd be at the car. She said just a few minutes. I texted that I am going to the airport and that she should arrange an Uber. I just drove off, and like 40 minutes later while I was at the airport, she called me asking where I was, which told me that I would have been waiting there for 40 minutes, so I think I made a good choice. I told her that I said I was going to the airport. She said she thought I was joking and got angry, and even said such a typical man. She ended up missing the flight and having to take a later flight and miss the first day of the vacation. My friends are on my side and think it's silly that she's still so upset about it. They're like, you know how he rolls. This was your fault. And why would you expect someone to wait 40 minutes? Her best friend that is also friends with us, however, is taking her side and said I was mean. I guess I do feel bad because we all put money toward this vacation and she missed the whole day of it. Am I the a-hole? Info. Would she have made it to the flight had you waited for her? Or would you both have missed the flight? Like, did she miss the flight because she was 40 minutes late? Or because getting the Uber and everything took extra time on top of that? If I waited 40 minutes, we would have missed the flight. She called me like I just got outside where are you 40 minutes later. $10 says she used your arrival notice as a wake-up call, then showered and got ready. And packed. I had a friend that would do this crap. He would always demand everyone be at his house at a particular time, and we'd get there and he'd still be sleeping without his bags packed. We'd never get on the road for 40 to 60 minutes. And I just don't get it. If my flight is before 5 p.m. the next day, my bag is packed the day before and ready to go, so that if there's any hiccups, I at least have that ready to go. If it actually took her 40 minutes, then not the a-hole. However, I do think you should have given her a little more of a chance when you were waiting. Something like, if you're not out in 5, I'm gone for real. It's okay to give a little leeway to friends. Except she messaged 40 minutes later, where are you? Yeah, I understand a point about giving friends a little leeway, especially for something like an airport drive. And if the friend had immediately replied to the initial text saying I'm running 5 minutes late, and really was only running 5 minutes late, and Opie drove off anyway, I'd call that an a-hole move. But the friend ignored a text and was apparently actually 40 minutes late. So Opie did nothing wrong. Even if he had given 5 minutes leeway, it wouldn't have made a difference. Not the a-hole. She knows you, but never thought you'd actually follow through. This is totally on her. Wouldn't have been a problem if she'd stuck to the time she agreed to in the first place. And wow, she didn't notice until 40 minutes later? Either she enjoys the power of holding people to her schedule, or she's really just so unorganized that she can't keep it together. Either way, not your problem. She caused herself to miss her flight and her first day of vacation. Hope she learns. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend to go and ask to be adopted by the couple she's so obsessed with? My girlfriend Katie made a new friend a few months ago, Mary. Katie talked about her a lot. Mary said this, did that, started teaching her something, etc. I thought it was a bit weird how much Katie seemed to look up to Mary, but I didn't think much of it until Mary's husband Joe entered the picture too. From then on, Katie talked about their relationship all the time. How they do things, how they divide the chores, how respectful are they to each other. Basically, how they are just the best couple ever. I've met them too, and they're honestly nothing special. Maybe a bit on the boring side even. Yesterday evening, Katie was once again going on about them, saying things like Mary and Joe are true soulmates, and theirs is the healthiest relationship she had ever seen, blah blah. I had a really long day at work, so I told her I don't want to hear about them. I don't care about her creepy crush on this random couple, but if she likes them so much, she should go and ask them to adopt her, or ask if she can be their third. Katie then gave me the cold shoulder and left to go home to her apartment instead of sleeping at my place like she was supposed to. I need to know if I'm right and her obsession is creepy, or if I'm not seeing something right and I'm the a-hole here. Now for the comments. You're the a-hole. My friend, she's trying to tell you what she wants out of your relationship without hurting you or making you feel defensive. While you're not wrong and he's the a-hole, she needs to open her mouth and actually say what she wants. All of this hinting and subliminal messaging is not the way, and all it's doing is creating discord. He isn't picking up on hints. All he sees is her constantly fawning over two people, and he doesn't get it even after meeting them. If she wants her boyfriend to change, then she needs to lay it out for him what she's looking for in a relationship. To be fair to Katie, a bunch of internet strangers read a second-hand account of what she said, and we got it. Katie then gave me the cold shoulder and left to go home to her apartment instead of sleeping at my place like she was supposed to. I cringed reading this. She has no obligation to stay with you. I'm glad I'm not crazy. I saw this too and immediately was like, yeah, he does not care. Update. She finally texted me back. She wrote a long message saying that she had tried everything with me, and she thought that if she was patient and clear about her needs, I would eventually change for her. But she realized, thanks to Mary and Joe, that it's not her job to raise a man and get her boyfriend to respect her. She wrote a lot of other things about Mary too, like that Mary's truly proud of her husband and looks up to him. Meanwhile she, Katie, can't find it in herself to look up to me in anything and so on. So yeah, I hope you all are happy. You got what you wanted. Last story. Am I the a-hole for arguing with my fiancé after she left my child at home and took only her kids on an outing? Backstory. My fiancé and I have been together for about 4 years. She has 2 kids, 12 and 15 girls, with shared custody. It's an odd arrangement. She only has them January to June. Early September, she moved into our house. My daughter Charlie's 10. For the record, up until recently, she has been an amazing mother figure to Charlie. Our first issue was back in November as we discussed bedroom arrangements. She felt her eldest should have a room of her own while living her 6 months out of the year. That would cause Charlie to bunk with her youngest. I, however, did not allow it, because that would encroach on Charlie and likely cause her to feel alienated in her own home. Last weekend, I was called in and worked a 12-hour shift. When I arrived home, Charlie was upset because they went out to eat and left her home. She said when they came back, she was handed a bag of takeout and the food was stone cold. I asked my fiancé to elaborate, to which she confirmed taking only her girls out to an early dinner then took them to play mini-golf, hence why the food was cold as it sat in the car as they played. She kept deflecting to the food, saying she didn't expect her to eat it cold. She could have warmed it up herself. I kept insisting it was extremely rude to exclude Charlie from the outing. She came back with, but I brought her food home. She then asked, why is it okay for you to go out with just Charlie? But that's different. In the last 30 days her kids have been here. Charlie and I have only gone grocery shopping, or in one occasion took her cat to the vet. That can't even be compared to what she did. We didn't come to any sort of an agreement. Friday, she was taking her girls to the dentist, and on the way out, she made a snarky comment, I hope this doesn't offend Charlie too. It ticked me off when she said that, and I called her feral. We both later apologized, but she then started the argument back up. She said it was so rude of me to argue about her taking her kids out. She further said, I don't see my kids for 6 months. Excused the hell out of me for wanting to spend time alone with them. I understood her point, but I felt like we could periodically plan separate outings on the same day, so no one feels excluded. She kinda threw the bedroom ordeal in my face and said, my kids might feel alienated from their own mother if they can't enjoy time alone with me. She made a pointless remark that her kids have no problem with her doing things with Charlie while they're living with her father. She further argued that there will be many times when Charlie will be excluded because of the age gap between her and the eldest. I told her if she expects things to work out, she would need to treat Charlie as one of her daughters. She said I was entirely missing her point because I don't know what it's like having shared custody, and me scolding her for spending time with them as she said was a cowardly move. Not the a-hole. She left a child at home alone knowing you were working a 12-hour shift and then brought her cold takeout. That's just plain mean. Are you sure you want this woman in your daughter's life? Sounds like Opie nabbed himself an evil stepmother. Dude, she's showing you how she treats your kid when you aren't around. She won't stop either. Your kid is less than in her eyes. Yes, exactly that. She's showing him what she is, and she is a right fighter. You know, she just needs to be right. Run, buddy. Run fast and far. The red flags are everywhere in this post. Your fiancé sounds very immature and it sounds like you both need to work on your communication. You're not the a-hole, but your fiancé is for leaving a 10-year-old home alone for that long, and specifically excluding her from the outing. OP, your fiancé gave your daughter a bag of food that was sitting in the car as they played mini-golf for presumably several hours. During that time, food can accumulate bacteria when left out between 40 to 140 Fahrenheit degrees in as little as 2 hours. Not only did this woman neglect your daughter to show favor to her own kids, but your daughter could have become ill from eating leftovers that were sitting in your fiancé's car. The fact that your fiancé is petty and vindictive and compares going to the store or taking a cat to the vet as the same as going out to restaurants and playing mini-golf, then uses it against you. This is a manipulation tactic. Please take a long thought about whether this woman should be living with you. She may seem like she was a good motherly figure when she is around you, but now you see how she acts towards your daughter when you're not around. Not the a-hole. Honestly, I didn't even think about the food poisoning potential. I was more focused on the big picture of excluding her. My fiancé was like, well, I placed her order to go after we ate. Like that changed anything, since she knew it would be sitting in car for who knows how long. Nobody plays mini-golf for a couple minutes anyways.